So I've got Behringer's new VST here. So I made an init patch, and I'll put that on my Patreon, as well as some presets that I'm going to do. But this video is really to show you how to use the Behringer Vintage. It has different sections in it, and when you click these, you get different displays on the simulated LCD screen. I don't know too many vintage synths that have a giant LCD screen in the center, but this one does. So when you click on the master volume, you get controls for octave and detune, number of voices, or if you're going to go mono, pitch bend, range, and things like that. And this error thing is pretty cool. This is simulating, making it sound more vintage by introducing pitch errors and filter errors into it, if you want to use that. I'll put this on mono for now. It has two oscillators. It has one up here on the top, running across the top into, so you've got the LFO1, the VCO1, the filter number 1, and the VCA number 1. In the middle here, you've got vibrato, unison, and the portamento button. Over here on the left, you've got noise, and then you've got oscillator 2, filter 2, and VCA 2. Now, you don't have to use both filters. What you can do is run them, both oscillators, through this filter on top here, this VCF1, by using this encoder right here. One VCF2, it says on it. So you can turn that to 1. Now the signal will run up and through VCF1 and out VCA1. But if you want to use 2 filters at one time, you have the choice of running this upper oscillator through the filter down here on the bottom, and vice versa. So let's just start with this one on top here. And we'll start with the VCO1. We've got the sine wave, saw wave, and a pulse wave. And we've got control over the octaves and detuning it in semitones. So your controls for the envelope are, if you click over here on VCA1, then you'll see the controls for your envelope. Attack, decay, sustain. Sustain time, they add an extra step in there, which probably they shouldn't have. And then release. And then you have your filter envelope. When you click there on VCF1, you'll see the filter envelope. So let's start off by making a little brass sound. So we'll go here to VCO1 and we'll put that on the saw wave to do brass. And the saw wave is usually for brass or strings. The reason it's for strings is because this shape of the saw wave, you can see that the bow scrapes across the string, picks it up, and drops it over time. And if you do that 220 times a second, it will be perceived as an A. If you do it 440, it'll be an A, an octave above that one. Pretty obvious why the square wave sounds exactly like a clarinet, and it's because the reed inside the clarinet flips back and forth and does an on-off motion like that. So when you duplicate that with electronics, you get the sound of a clarinet. But we're going to use the saw to do kind of a brass sound, but we need to mimic the sound of your mouth blowing into the trumpet or a brass instrument. And we could do that with an envelope. So we'll go to the envelope here and we'll turn the envelope all the way up on the VCF1 so that we can give it that slow attack to kind of mimic the buildup of the breath in the brass instrument. All right, and let's change the attack a little bit. So these are the settings for the filter that I made on attack, decay, sustain, and release time. And then for the VCA, these are the settings. So let's play some chords in there. Sounds very brassy sounding. Now if we want to, we can give it a more vintage feel by going over here, click on vibrato, and also if you click master you get those same settings I noticed. But if you click on vibrato there, you can choose this error thing and turn that up all the way. It'll get even more analog sounding. So let's try more of an FX sound. Let's try the PBS logo sound. So what that'll be is a falling pitch modulated by a square wave. So we can go here to and click on VCO1, and we can raise up this pitch envelope so that we've got a falling sound. And then we can make the time, stretch the time out there that it falls. And then we can modulate that with the LFO right here where it says pitch mod. Turn the LFO on and put it on rectangle wave. And we could take the delay off of there, the offset off of the LFO, the attack off of the LFO, so that it immediately takes effect. Yeah, so I think I've got pretty close to it here. So there's the settings for the LFO, and it's wobbling the pitch, and then you've got the pitch drop happening because of the pitch envelope at the same time, and these are the pitch mod settings to the LFO and key. And you get something like that. That's the PBS logo sound. Now I can work on some type of a string sound where I'll use both of these oscillators and detune one a little bit. So I'll turn on VCO2, and I've got the encoder. Here I can send the signal up through VCF1 and through VCA1. So I don't need to turn on VCF2, the second filter, or VCA2. I don't need to turn those on. So now I'm hearing two saw waves, and I can detune one a little bit. Do less envelope on that one. And we could do a fifth with it. We'll just take this, we'll turn on VCO2 and turn the semitone down 7. That would 7 semitones, and that would give you a fifth. Yeah, the Behringer Vintage. It was kind of fun to play with it. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.